What is up, fellow mountain bike enjoyers? Welcome to the MTB Bike Weekly Show, where I'm going to be talking smack on all things current in the mountain bike sphere. This video, the smack talking is going to be revolving around X Games Real MTB, Amaury Piron's winning Val d'Isole run, greatest run of all time. We will discuss, and then I just thought there's a few other funny things going around, like Aaron Gwin announcing his 7th different tire sponsor. So anyway, let's start with X Games. As I'm watching these videos, I couldn't help be frustrated and annoyed at the 90-second time limit, which seems to be completely arbitrary, but it makes all these videos feel just incomplete. It's just straight into the action, almost no warm-up, bangers in your face for 90 seconds, and then it's over. And I feel like 90 seconds isn't enough to really complete and build a creative vision for a video. They just feel like contest videos, which is fine, I guess. I just think there's no reason to limit it, and I think they're kind of squandering the opportunity for these videos to kind of live outside of the contest realm, because each of these riders has so much more to offer in a video. There's a reason why, your standard mountain bike edit from any of these riders isn't 90 seconds, is because they have more to offer, they have more to show. There's way more depth to their riding and I guess their vision for mountain biking, and it feels incomplete and a missed opportunity to have the sport represented in, I think, a more complete and better way. So, for example, I think Tom Van Steenbergen's probably going to win. But if you look at a video he did 2 years ago, which is honestly a really similar setup to his X Games Real Moto edit. It's the Wild West 2. It's 2.5 minutes long. And he starts out with a huge caveman, just like he does X Games. And, there's just a little bit more setup context to the clips. If he's doing something insane like this huge Superman, I want to see a few angles of it. I want to see it slowed down. I want to see an angle that shows the size of the jump. And then he has room to give us 3 shots of him ripping this corner, which is sweet. And then, we get a setup shot of him bombing down this hill. And it's all those little context cues and extra shots that are added in to highlight all the different aspects of all the insane stuff he's doing. It makes it feel complete, and there's way more continuity to the whole video. With Tom's X Game part, it's all right, we're in the trees, we're hitting jumps, and then we're in Utah where he does this crazy manual to front flip that we get one angle of, and then we're back. It's just a much more hectic and scattered experience. And I think we're robbing the riders of giving their tricks and their performance on the bike a platform to really shine by putting this arbitrary 90-second limit on it. And that just frustrates me as someone who makes videos. Also, what is even going on with the X Games YouTube? Real MTB is by far the most popular stuff they've posted in months. And, my videos are getting more views than this crap, and they've got 1.7 million subscribers. So get your numbers up, X Games. Turns out mountain biking might be promoting X Games, not the other way around. All right, honestly, as a U.S. downhill fan, more importantly than Amaury's run is that we have 3 U.S. riders in the top 10. Dylan Maples busting in there like a boss with an 8th place. And in the top 30, there's 7 American riders. The only country that has us outnumbered is the French at 8 riders, and Amaury's performance definitely spells doom and gloom for the disparity of nationalities in the top 5 and that number 1 spot. Because if we've got Loic and Amaury firing on all cylinders, just the wrong red, white, and blue flag that's going to be occupying the podium. So yeah, now that AG hurt his elbow, we got Dakota leading the charge for the Stars and Stripes, and we've got a good group of soldiers out there bringing the fight to all the Euros. Amaury's been off the podium for a little bit, but the Champagne execution, top notch. What a boss. It was just so well executed. The slam is able to get everyone, good spray with enough to chug some, while Dakota is still jerking it when nothing's coming out. So we all know how that is, but Dak's got some stuff to learn. Look at him go, dude. Dak will get a little bit more experience on the podium soon and clean up those champagne skills. What is this little box on the right showing all these team managers? Like, I'm enough of a nerd to know that watching Amaury's run, that's Max Commensal, which is relevant, but I don't know. It's honestly kind of awkward, and it sticks around for way too long. Like, there at least needs to be like text, Max Commensal, team manager, or like owner of the bike brand Amaury's riding for. But that's like a lot to communicate, because if we're trying to grow the sport, like someone who isn't like an absolute nerd, an avid follower of the sport, is not going to know who the hell that is. So just get it out of there. Amaury Pierron's run, Val di Sole, this past weekend, definitely one of the best runs we've seen in the last few years. Kind of in the modern era, you just don't see time gaps like that. And on the track, how the conditions were with his backstory, it kind of checks a lot of the boxes. So when the track is gnarly and there's mixed conditions like this, the potential of the track is still high. It's just very, very sketchy to ride it at that level. Like, the fact that there was this big of a margin at this race actually isn't as surprising as it maybe would be at another race that's dry. But it has been thrown around, like, where does this stack in the greater history of greatest downhill runs that the sport has had? So why not go there? Let's have a little bit of fun, do some bench racing, and kind of see where this run stacks up. Keep in mind, I'm horribly unqualified to really call this. I'm literally sitting on a couch in front of my computer, armchairing this crap. I think what made Amaury's run more special than anything is the context around the race. Given that he was injured, horribly, and had such a long comeback, and that this is his first win back from, nearly being paralyzed. I think that makes the strongest impression on this race. I think this run is worth talking about in this conversation. It's just, if we're going to have it, we got to compare it to some of the greatest runs of all time. So I think a good one to compare it to is, ironically, Aaron Gwynn's run at Val di Sole 2012. And I think this kind of points out maybe the biggest thing that has me, taking that leap to like put it, at the upper echelon of the greatest runs, is when you look at Aaron Gwynn's run, just visually, it's insane. Like, the speed he's going, how he looks on the bike, it's aggressive. And for me as a rider, that almost is more important than the time, the context. It's like what the rider actually is doing and looks like on the bike is maybe the most important part. And, Gwynn's track was fully dry, so he was able to push, to the max, and it's clear in the run. It looks insane. I think the conditions of Amaury's run limited the style in which he was able to ride the track, and honestly, everyone else at that race. I think what he did and how he rode it in that race run, given the conditions, is honestly insane. I think if you just played Amaury's race run by itself without comparing it to everyone else who was really struggling with the track, it doesn't make as big of an impression as, Aaron Gwynn, Val di Sole 2012, or even Amaury's run in 2019 at Leger, where you could just see he was on the absolute limit. The energy of that run and how he was riding, it like puts you on the edge of your seat. Amaury's run in Val di Sole, but it just doesn't have that X factor of really aggressive riding because it wasn't possible on that track. And then you go the other direction where it's like a full wet race, and that kind of brings a different level of excitement into the riding. Danny Hart's 2011 World Champs run, fully wet, an even bigger winning margin, and he was doing insane lines. Again, visually, inspiring as a rider. And he has the benefit of having Rob Warner and Nigel Page commentating his runs. And unfortunately, when we think about, how are we going to think about these runs, 4 years down the line, that plays a big part in how we remember these race runs. And it is impossible to mention that World Champs run without mentioning Rob Warner. And honestly, all these other runs that I have listed here, the energy in the booth is part of the conversation. And it's ironic now that Aaron Gwin is in the booth commentating these runs, but I don't think there's that same energy there. I think getting Aaron and Josh Carlson in the booth has been a major step in the right direction. I think they give a really analytical and informative commentary that I really appreciate. But I think it's just a product of having Rob do it for so long, is that definitely kind of makes me feel a certain way. And just the Aaron and Josh thing hasn't gotten there yet for me. But yeah, even a run like Aaron Gwin, Wyndham 2015, that's a track that was super short, didn't have hardly any line choice to separate riders, and he just bulldogged that thing, and it looked like I was watching an edit in the race run of someone just riding on the absolute ragged edge. And to me, that's really inspiring. And I think Amaury's run makes a big impression right now because it's in the moment. It just happened and it was insane. But I think when we look 3 to 4 years down the road, are we going to think back at this Amaury run the same way we look at Danny Hart, 2011 World Champs, Aaron Gwin, Val di Sole 2012, Steve Smith, Mont Saint Anne 2013? Like, those are runs that are imprinted in my memory. And I think Amaury's run just sits like one step below that. But that is just my humble, uneducated opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Other than that, I just, like, literally right before I started recording this, I saw that Aaron Gwin signed for his next new tire sponsor, which is great. I'm a huge Aaron Gwin fan, but I just think it's funny now that we've got, this is like the 6th one. We've got Maxxis, Kenda, Specialized, Onza, V, and now E13. Let me know if I'm missing any. But at one point, all of these were the best tires you could buy. We've just been through a lot of Aaron Gwin tire sponsor announcements, and the latest one just hit, so get on those E13s. They're hot. I'm sure he'll have a signature tire coming out soon. Maybe after this, he'll be on those Ling Longs. Those who look for budget tires for their cars know what I'm talking about. So, Ling Long, hit me up. I'm trying to have a signature tire. Anyway, for those of you sticking around, I'm sorry. So, that's about all I got for this week. Maybe I'll be back next week if there's more exciting stuff to talk about. Either way, I'll see you guys later. Bye.